You just might be listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, they're applauding for your radios. Yes, they are. The glow-in-the-dark radios that we will be encountering coming up in the Old Tube Radio Network. The sun is shining out here in the Central Valley of California. It was 100 and something today, and it's still shining, but it's perfect in the radio room for checking in the shortwave listeners and the radios as well. So thanks for joining us. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers to sit in the air chair of the Old Tube Radio Network. A group of people just to associate and distribute information about Old Tube radios on the 11-meter Citizen band. Channel 11 is where we are at tonight, 27085. So if you've got a radio tuned to an antenna, keep it on channel 11. Maybe the sun will work right and we will hear you. If you're around locally, make sure that your radio is ready, warmed up, because we will be getting to that soon. And thanks for joining us, whether you're live on channel 11 at oldtuberadio.net on the audio or the video thing as well. I'll stop talking so we can get a few early check-ins. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
24 checking in.
All right, I've got 24. Thanks, Joseph. Who else?
56 would like an early chicken.
Okay, a couple of early chickens. We've got 195 up in the hills where it might only be 99 degrees today. I've got you, Jim, no problem. And also 56 just for kicks over.
53, I want to check in early break.
All right, and the Legend 53, we will make sure that you get checked in as well. No problem, Bob.
Thank you, bye-bye.
And your output is low.
It should not be. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Did something come off? Oh, something's not working. Hold on. All right, hold on a second.
Like you dropped off.
Yeah, I had a great on him and now he's completely disappeared.
He's probably seeing things.
All right. That's why I get out here 2 hours early to see if this thing will work.
Hey, you're good. K6BLM.
All right, well, I don't know what the problem was, but I wiggled some things. All right, give me a moment here to get everything back together.
Yeah, so I did hear your radio though. 99, your Max Shackin, the Shaka Shaka.
Okay.
That's my 99 Roger, man. You take them on here. Hope you have a good weekend time too, man.
And now here comes the skip land again. All right, I think we're back. The items of interest, the modes of operation, the Old Tube Radio Network, early check-ins continuing. And maybe that is it. All right, we'll get started with the direct-to-net roll call. Let's go to the control room and see if that is working. At least I found the right jacket, the Sears Second jacket and the tie from Sears Roebuck, the Old Tube Radio Network. Who else wants to check in? Let me see who's on the list. Rob out there in beautiful Waco checking in, saying have a great net tonight. And where we'd have a packet link, we could do that. Right now it's just the Echolink link. So thanks, Rob, for joining us. Notice the sun is still up out here. All right, let's get to 00. Of course, I'm not sure what's happening out in Tennessee, but we will get Robert and Teresa checked in. Also, SWL number 1 and SWL number 2, who was sitting at the control board. Over. And if you're on the video side, let Mr. OBP, SWL2, know that he is 9 pounds, good modulation in a chestnut and Herndon. Got to check in for SWL3, and let's go to SWL5. Levon is out there. He was over at Old Radio Night, and he might be back here right now. SWL7 sounding good moments ago, and if he's still there, we'll get him checked in. Hello, Mr. Ed.
And hello, Mr. Dennis. SWL7 checking in.
All right, sounding good. Thanks for stopping by. Got to put a couple X's here. This is, if you're playing the home game, we are on 5/31/2025, week 5. Okay, out we go. I think they can hear us now in Sangertown. Let's see if we've got SWL number 9, 982, the Dirt Dog. Over.
How about it? This is Dirt Dog 982 checking in.
982, the Dirt Dog, sounding good here in Fresno and beaconing across the entire earth at oldtuberadio.net. Thanks for joining us. The radio sounds awesome as usual. Back to you.
Thanks, Dennis.
All right, big audio from Sangertown for SWL 9. SWL 10, Chrissy and Dwayne. Has anybody seen the Jumping Dolphins? I suspect that because of the weather today, if we were to get some short E-skip, we will be hearing 10 and 30 tonight. We will see how that works. SWL 11 and 12, that's Dan, Mr. Cornbread and Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan, of course, tuning in on the Heathkit shortwave receiver, very close to 27085, maybe a little at 84, maybe a little at 86, but nonetheless, if I were to update my chart here, we will get 11 and 12 checked in. They have the air conditioning working in the control point here tonight, and so if I don't look dapper, at least I'm feeling dapper, even with the seersucker jacket on tonight. Over. SWL 13, Mikey might try on the crossband, which I have up. He could be checking in at oldtuberadio.net, which you can do if you have all the right stuff. And there he is right there. I'll see if we can get him checked in. Hello, Radio 13. Got you checked in from KB6GFD. And indeed, he is out there on the crossband. So we've got you checked in 13. Thanks. And then back out to Sanger. I don't think the conditions have changed that much. SWL 14. Okay, I tell that your audio's a little bit low. Take another transmission over. Okay, 14 is checked in, but check the audio because there's carrier, but I'm not hearing much in the way of sound, but I was earlier. So you know it's working. We've got you checked in.
Oh, there it goes. So SWL 14 checking in. Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, sounding good now. Good sounding radio, and we will be talking more about that, no doubt, when we start glowing in the dark on the Old Tube Radio Network. 10 and 30 are checking in. No conditions at this time, although, let's see, last night, who were they talking to on the ditch banks? Was it Florida? Somebody came in from far away, so keep things tuned to 27085. We'll get reports, see where we're floating in when the sun goes down around here. And SWL 13 on the crossband, sounding good. Let's go way to where the crossband doesn't work. I don't know about Echolink, and my antenna's pointed the wrong direction. SWL 15.
But you did hear your radio. 99, you're 141.
Maybe we'll be talking to Hippopotamus. Hans is in. Good morning. Good early morning to you. He was up early over on Old Radio Night, switching over here for a moment, right on the frequency, which is 27085, plus or minus. I'm on the wide receiver, so you could probably be down between channel 10, and I might hear you doing that just because we can. SWL 16, of course, Charlie, right behind the screen. You can't see him, but I can. He's the one that helps me, reminds me to straighten my tie and to sit up and do all those things so we can get through the net here. Attempted to check in last week and was unable to access the net while on the road. Okay, well, there are some stations probably listening in on the road right now. Sacramento, Centerville, Virginia. Hello to Kerman, the unknown SWL. Lance, Pennsylvania, Sacramento, Belfast, Maine, Plymouth, Minnesota, and a host of others tuning in on mobile devices. But you are sounding good tonight, so you must be in your air chair. And yeah, it's good to have you back. So thanks for joining us tonight. Charles, let's go to SWL 17. All right, I need an extra, an assistant is what I need. Let's go to SWL 18. I have 18 checked in from the Facebook item, SWL 19, right at the top here with the cue cards tonight. And what else? Yeah, I know everybody is enjoying the nice air-conditioned air. What did they do? They had to get on the phone to Ecobee and talk to somebody and fiddle with the thermostat, and they did that, and there's actually some cool air blowing in. So there'll be a little something extra in your paycheck this week. What is 0 times 10? That'll help you remember what it is. Thanks for checking in, Chet. Let's go over to I think he's around tonight, SWL 20.
Yeah, number 20's here. Please check me in. 29 and 54. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay, over.
Alrighty, I'll have a radio of interest to check in. It'll be a mystery radio. You got to guess.
All right, I always love a mystery, not when I'm involved, but we'll see what we can do. If it could be the one you're on now, which actually sounds pretty good. I like the non-plussed audio. It's not in your face, but it sounds very good. We will find out more. Stay tuned to the Old Tube Radio Network, a special radio of interest. And I'm assuming that everyone listening in can play along too and guessing the radio, over.
Oh, yeah. I'll give some hints, but you probably won't believe it. Okay, back to you.
All right. Would you, as Don Adams used to say, would you believe? Back in the day when these radios were brand new. All right, Harvey, thanks a lot for that. All right, I'm going to attempt, we'll put on the SWL 21, and I was there earlier listening in. I don't know if he is still up. We'll bring up the audio. Oh, you know what? Here we are. Let me watch this as we go to the video, bringing up the audio from Old Radio Night, and let me get the proper screenshot here. If that's even possible. I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, there it is. He's on channel 17. He was on channel 11 earlier. Let me get the audio going.
I'll have a radio of interest.
There's Harvey. There's your replay, Harvey.
A mystery radio.
All the way from the Wasama Swamps. All right, I always love a mystery, not when I'm involved. JT in South Carolina, the Old Tube Radio Network. He'll be checking in. We'll see who brings in tonight. Sounds pretty good. I like the non-plussed audio. It's not in your face, but it sounds very good. We will find out more. Stay tuned to the Old Tube Radio Network, a special radio video. All right, we're back. You should be picking up. That's a delay on us tonight. Play along to and guessing the radio. Over. Got some delay.
Oh, yeah.
Hello to K6YYL Ham Radio Lady. Hello to Bill. Get Smart and Get Max. UDX 483 Mud Bucket. Thanks for joining us. Dallas UDX 347 out in Tennessee. Hello to you. Foxman 362 has been busy this week on the radio trying to do the condition. No conditions, but he's still out there. And here comes the check-ins, I hope.
I'm going to attempt. We'll put on the SWL 21, and I was there earlier listening in. I don't know if he's still up. We'll bring up the audio. Oh, you know what? Here we are. Let me watch this.
We are on a big delay tonight. Here we go. SWL 21 of the gang. Adjusting the controls. Let's see who he finds first.
SWL 21 trying to check in. SWL 21. Come on, Jed.
Right, South Carolina. Who else is on 17 tonight? They're all hiding. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Takes like 2 minutes for Dennis to get there. It must be long distance. 21. I'm standing by. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you, guys. Got you checked in on Old Radio Night. They're on Channel 17. They're live right now at 21s.c on your YouTube. Check them out.
Hello to K6YYL Ham Radio Lady. Hello to Bill. Get Smart and Get Max.
I don't hear anything here. All right.
61 checking in, Dennis.
Hey, 61. I heard you earlier, but I was on the relay, or I was on the delay, and by the time I got to the air chair, you were gone. But you're here now, and you're sounding good. 61 is checked in. Over. I got you there, 61. Over.
61 trying, but I got my needle pegged. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, somebody let 61 know he's sounding good here in the Midtown. Over.
Thanks, Dennis. I'll try back again later in case you didn't get me. I can barely hear you.
Okay, yeah, you must have somebody close by shutting his ears down. 61 is in, sounding good, Dino. Thanks.
Thanks, Dennis. I heard you that time.
All right, I think I'm on the right page here. The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio is glowing in the dark. Skip is in and out. Locals are sounding good. And we are waiting for your tube radios. Looking for SWL 22. SWL 23. Not sure what's on with the Skidoo tonight. I had a rumor that the EDC group may be joining us. If the van pulls into the gravel driveway here, we will find out. No promises, and that could be a good thing. SWL 24, Joseph checked in moments ago. SWL 25.
25 checking in, Dennis.
25, you are sounding good tonight. You must have polished the antenna. Over.
Oh, yeah. I anytime weather permits, I'm up there with a piece of Brillo pad polishing the antenna. Anyway, thanks, Dennis. Thanks for what you've been doing for, 40 years, and go ahead and check 74 in, too, if you could. Thank you.
We'll do 25 and 74. You think by these 40 years I would figure out how to do this right, but give me another 40 years and it will be flawless. Thanks for checking in.
Roger, roger.
SWL 27. I can't believe he'd be in the air chair tonight, but we'll find out. If he was in Studio G, it's probably over 100 degrees. Arlen checked in. Arlen, I was looking to see what your number was because it's been so long since you checked in. I'm going to put you back on the list. So if you're still there, Arlen, let me know, and I'll find I'll find a number for you. Probably won't be the same one you had, but at least it'll get you on the list, because Arlen is one of our long-time digital listeners and back on the air. Good to see you in there. So let me know, and we'll find something for you. Let's go to SWL 28 up the road a piece, where I suppose they probably made it to 100 degrees sometimes today. Gary says, checking in, ice cream floats in the green room. Yeah, get there before the ice cream melts. We had to turn the temperature down on the freezer so that wouldn't happen. She's going to send one down, 102 in Sacramento today. Same thing here in Fresno. So you guys didn't get that Delta breeze. We're in the big high pressure. The wind is going the wrong way. All right, thanks for the ice cream. We will enjoy it. We got a proxy for 29, SWL 30. He's by the Browning. He's by the Robin. He's just waiting for that skip to come in. SWL 31, Robert and Teresa, also our 00 getting checked in, and we'll find out what's going on. If they're in the wacky weather or the good weather, I heard some stations lamenting about the amount of rain they were getting. Was it around Tulsa? I don't remember. Just some strange things going on with the weather. But typical, it's June, right? It's going to be June in Fresno, so it's going to be 100 degrees. Let's go to SWL 32. SWL 33, that's myself, Bozo Control, and anybody else who's getting an ice cream float here in the facility today. SWL 34, Jimmy Fiedler, and of course, Railroader, Captain Chaos. They're busy with a whole bunch of YouTube pages, making sure you can see pictures and good stuff for railroads and CB radios and whatnot. And Arlen, I got the foot switch going. It's still not the way I want. I've got my eye on another one that might be a little bit better. So, Arlen, don't go away. I'm putting you down as SWL 46. Let me know. I can't remember. I don't have the old list here. I can't remember what state, what country, what district, what zone you're in. So let me know, and I'll add that to the list. So Arlen is back on the old Tube Radio Network. I know some people come back. They were checking in 1992, and they drive back into town and say, "Is this possible? The old Tube Radio Network is still happening?" And it is. Let's go to SWL 35 is Cheyenne, Wyoming. Cool. I'm looking to see if we've got a check-in from Red Monkey Communications and Mr. Bill. I'm checking you in. Let us know what the weather's like in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We may all come over there and join you. Over. All right, thank you, Arlen. I got the update. Over to SWL 36. SWL 37.
SWL 37 here. Good evening, Dennis.
You're sounding good, and I hope you are staying cool. Over.
The AC has been running since yesterday.
That makes sense. Mine just started today. I said they fixed the little temperature of the thermostat, and now it is semi-comfortable, if that means anything. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, I had mine worked on here a few months back. It needed a new fan up there on the outside, on that one deal to cool the radiator. And then they had to change a filter deep inside my AC. But now it's running a lot cooler and not running as long. It goes for spurts, back on and off. And it's cheaper to run it that way.
It is. I went out to the little power meter, and the AC uses 5 times, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the electricity that the evaporative cooler does. I looked at the little power meter, and it went way up there. So maybe when it's just, you can't stand it anymore, it's worth that extra little stuff to stay cool. Thanks.
All right, then. You have a good evening. Thank you.
All right, the Old Tube Radio Network, we're in the direct-to-net roll call. We will have glow-in-the-dark radios coming up. Hello to Bootlegger UDX252 if I didn't say hello already. Also, let me get Neil checked in 147 since he is out and about. And we don't want him to fall asleep on us. Neil, checking in from the house. Conditions up and down. Lots of West Coast on 27, 375, but not many contacts. Good amount of rain this week. Yeah, you were the guys getting to the rain, listening to us. 73 Dr. Jazz, 887 North Carolina. Let me make the official 147 stuff right there. Thanks, Neil, for joining us for a long, long time. Hello to Private Thor. He's got the bozo. The bozo with the megaphone. That's sort of what I feel like when I sit down in the air chair. The bozo with the megaphone. SWL 38. Sam, I saw you earlier. I think we're in the beginnings of some solar wackiness, so that might start to squelch our skip land from the Pacific tonight. Haven't heard the hippopotamus. I think the guys who are at Old Radio Night were talking to Hawaii and down under, but not too much here on the West Coast so far. But they're in there. SWL 39, SWL 40,
SWL 40 on the 2 meter, checking in and cleaning up, taking advantage of the coolness in the shack here, cleaning up.
All right, sounds good, and we've got you checked in. Take advantage of that coolness, KB6GFD.
Check out that beautiful sunset that's happening right now outside.
All right, something's going on. It's behind this. I'm looking northwest, so I need to look more west. Need to move the window. Can we move that? I'm asking the guys. Can we move and build a window for next week? Thank you, Larry. SWL 41, Road Dog 507, possibly checking in. And also SWL 13. Hey, Mike, I heard you on the 2 meter. I did, but I don't think you were hearing me. You just broke my squelch, so I actually did get you checked in. But thanks for the confirmation. There's 507, of course, the Orange County React, Hudson Valley, New York. Saying good evening to all. Yeah, I hear you now. You must have turned up the power. KB6GFD. All right, well, I hear you, Mike, but you're not hearing me, but you're making it through on the crossband, so we've got you live and direct. Let's head over to SWL 42, SWL 43. Here's a station that was sounding really good last night on the Ditchbank sideband map, and I'm not sure you can hear me on AM with the skip land going in, SWL 44. I will get 360 checked in because he was sounding good last night on the ditch banks. Over to SWL 45, Paul and Kelly. I know it's a little warm up there. Hope you are sitting by the radio and having a good time. We missed you guys. Hopefully we'll hear you soon. Got you checked in. And Rob says it's supposed to hit tomorrow. So that's why we're still getting a little noise here on 11 meters. I went up to 10 meters, listened for some beacons. It wasn't really strong. I didn't hear any 10 a.m. stations. And so tomorrow, look for things to be probably not good everywhere. You will go to that chart and see the conditions will be poor up and down the band. So we'll enjoy it tonight while we can. SWL 46, that is Arlen, Wisconsin. Thanks for rejoining us, and you will see up above my head right there, it says 46 is checked in. Thanks for remembering that the real radios glow in the dark here on the Old Tube Radio Network. The station was trying to get me all day, and I was not by the 2 meter radio, and I'm not sure if he's in the air chair or not, SWL 47. He might have me on 2 meters as well. I'll get Mike checked in, but I'm sure we will hear from him a little later when he gets closer in line. Out to SWL 48, I will get Sam checked in.
Mike, SWL 47, you out there? K6 VLS.
Yeah, that's my. Somebody actually has a good 2 meter antenna. See if you can hear him up in the hill. SWL 49, Smitty, Sweet Country Mama. You know,
I don't hear 'em.
a lot of people might not be in the radio room tonight because it's so hot. There's probably better places to be than sitting in front of a tube radio. Just make sure you've got the fan blowing on you and the tubes. Let's go over to SWL 51 out in Sangertown. Over. And I thought I heard 51 earlier. Hello, 51.
Hello, Dennis. Yeah, 51 checking in.
All right, checking in and sounding good. Good audio as usual, making it through whatever skip I've got, and you've got the X and the square. Over.
Over, Dennis. Have a good evening.
Back to roll call. Peter said he got checked in. Oh, I think Ron mentioned that Peter got checked in the ditch banks, 420 in the mobile, 3,000 feet up. It was great. Ron has a great station, great antenna. Everybody can hear him. He hears pretty well, so that's the thing to do. That's on Friday nights. We'll talk about that a little bit more, where you can find that. But the band is opening up, so don't be afraid to jump in there on Friday nights and see if you can get in. Let's go to SWL 52. Aaron was in the ditch banks last night. We will get him checked in.
Station.
The station, go ahead, over.
Yeah, SWL 52, almost a moment too late. Sitting here getting things ready for field day. I got laptops and radios and things all over the place.
All right, I understand. It just took a while to find the proper microphonium and the one that was actually connected to a radio, and then the radio that you needed. So that wasn't too bad, considering. So we've got you checked in. It'll be fun. I think, is that next weekend, or 2 weekends from now? Over.
No, it's like 4 weekends from now. The VHF UHF contest is in 2 weeks, and then field day is like 2 weeks after that. So we got time. I just the workers behind the scenes have to be ahead of the game. So we gotta get things going now.
Yeah, you don't want to be caught with your coax down. All right, well, I've got concerts every Friday night in June. We've got 2 events on Saturdays. I think one of the Saturdays, it's probably not the field day. The other one might be the VHF contest. So we'll see. We'll see, because I'd like to hear your station, or at least hear somebody talking to your station to see how it works. So good luck on that, and we'll stay tuned for more. Thanks. Looking for we got some Echolink links. We will be getting to those. Let's go to SWL 53. We got checked in moments ago. SWL 54, we've got a proxy check-in for 54. How about SWL 55? Over. SWL 55 on the hill, not yet. SWL 56 checked in earlier. SWL 57. Always helps to hear somebody if you're... If you don't have your microphone keyed at the wrong time. Who is that? Red on the road. Hello to you, jumping in from Louisville. Looking good. Oh, hey, Felix, let me get you in now, in case you have to jump out. SWL 91 with the X in the square. Checking in to all. Thanks, Felix. Over to SWL 58. Shortwave listener 59. Of course, that is Uncle Hairball from his appearance over at Old Radio Night and right here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Checkity check check. Or is it chitty 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 check check? That was, what was that movie? Let's go to SWL 60. Hello, Joe.
Hey, hello there, Dennis. Evening time to all the fellows out there. I'm working on the solar comm right now. I'm on the baby Triumph. We're going to say once again, top of the evening to all, SWL 60, checking in.
All right, antenna's working good. Radio sounds good. So all is well. If there's some glow-in-the-dark items, we'll pick them up here in a little while. Over.
Okay, Dennis.
Trying to make it all come together here so we can get to those radios. SWL 61, Dino checked in at the top of the net. SWL 62. SWL 63. SWL 64, Craig checked in at the top, or before the net actually, said to check him in, which we will do. SWL 65. SWL 66. SWL 67, let's see if Bill is in over at oldtuberadio.net out there in Canby, Oregon, and he is indeed right there about an hour ago. Got you checked in, Bill. Thanks for listening. We could have some conditions out your way tonight. SWL 68. And QY2, the 190 kilohertz, Quebec Yankee number 2. You are looking good. Got you in on the board. SWL 69 from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kenny checked in a bit earlier on the video stream. Hello, Kenny, to you. And I know you may have some radios coming up for sale. We will get the info on that in a little while. Let's go up the hill. This guy always pops in with a good signal when he is out there. SWL 70.
Right here, Dennis. How you doing, man? Happy Saturday. Hope it's cooling down. We're good here, and all secure in Sector 7. All secure in Sector 7, I think. Anyhow, thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. 7-0.
All right, sounded good. Your AM signal is decent as the sideband signal. A lot of stations that I talk to on sideband come down there and says, we can't hear you. We can't hear you on AM, but yours is always pretty much the same and sounding good. Anyway, thanks for dropping by the Old Tube Radio Network.
As are you. Sounding good tonight. Thanks.
And this is indeed the Old Tube Radio Network, streaming at oldtuberadio.net, 27085. Our frequency of choice, were you to be live and direct to net control. SWL 71 is checking in. And checked in. Stan is in, where is Stan? He's in beautiful Dallas, Georgia, probably working some ham radio stuff this evening, but thanks for joining us. Over to SWL 72. And hello to Greg O, saying hello to all the UDXers, and likewise, hello. We get a lot of the UDXers here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 73. I'm going to get a proxy check in for John. Likewise for SWL 74, over to SWL 75. '75 is 356 BYU. Where are you? Let's go over to SWL 76. Red Fox 1 out there in Rhode Island, where it's nice and cool, maybe. It's nice and cool. 007 Extreme CB joining us from the back of the RV maybe tonight. So many Hamfests, not enough time checking in, checking up, and now the check-in and the check is in the mail. Well, thanks. Thanks for always, stopping what you were doing. Say, pardon me while you're running your 50,000 kilowatt station. I need to go check in. I need to go see the mud ducks. And here we are. Thanks, Frank, for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network, and keep it up. Over to SWL 77. SWL 78. I'm going to check him in. I talked to him today on 40 meters, yesterday on 40 meters, last night on 40 meters. Sounding good from beautiful wild Wildemar. So, Richard, if you're listening or you stopped by, you are checked in. Sounded good today. SWL 79. I know I heard his voice earlier. We'll get Philip checked in. Here comes a hippopotamus trying to sneak in. SWL 80. And hello to, it's K6YYL Ham Radio Lady, who's doing something on YouTube. So I'll have to check that out. I'm on as well. So I don't know if I can find that and link in or not. I will have to keep that in mind. Maybe we can do a coast-to-coast link like we do with Old Radio Night. And I'm not sure. If it's ham related, they might say, who are those guys with the Class D radios? We don't want to get you in trouble there. But thanks for joining us here at the Old Tube Radio Network. We have been doing this, not on this air, but over the local airwaves for almost 40 years. Just a venue to get people on the air, and especially with their classic tube radios. You will find out more as we do that here in a couple of minutes after the roll call. Let's go to SWL 81. SWL 82.
82, checking in from the ditch banks of Biola. Good evening.
And good evening, sounding good. I guess we don't have the solar flare going on, but there's not as much skip as I thought there might be, which is kind of nice.
I was hoping the guys from Squamish would be able to check in the mobile like last night. So, I don't know. There still could be time for it.
Yeah, they mentioned that happened. Now, I don't have a decent antenna like you did. We will see. I think we're going to get some conditions when the sun goes down, so we will see. Everybody's ready and waiting with their favorite radio. Thanks for checking in. That's the voice of the Ditchbank Sideband Net, which you can tune into Friday evening starting at Pacific Daylight Time, 8 p.m. What's that, 2000 hours, something like that, and it's over on the sideband. So if you got a sideband radio, you will be all set up. 36 lower, 27,365, and listen for that voice. You don't have to be on any list. There's a place for visitors to check in, and he will get you on. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Dennis.
Man, I'm trying not to break the stuff here. I've still got over an hour to go, and I'm already breaking things. Let's go to SWL 83 out there in Ohio. And I hear a break OTR, but I don't know what channel you are on. Try it again. Who is the break OTR? All right, say again, because I don't know what channel you're on. You're certainly not on 11. Try it again. All right, did anybody, I think that was 55. Was that 55 over? All right, if you are on channel 11, you have a serious something going on with the radio. It sounds like you're way off frequency. I'm just getting your kind of sideband noise, but I hear you. Over.
How about now?
Oh, man, that is so much better.
Uh-oh, I got a problem. All right, thank you.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right on frequency, but before it was, I don't know, it sounded like you're off frequency, so something is not happy, but it's good now. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we called 83, but I didn't see anything going on. Let's get to 84, who is on 40 meters this afternoon on his good-sounding, wide-banded Swan tube radio on, I think it was 7208. He was on a different net that I'm not used to hearing him on, but that's, of course, the inimitable Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl. 84, 86, 87, and 88 over to SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 91. Felix checked in moments ago. Felix, there is the official X in the square above my head. SWL 92. I haven't heard Mr. Roman in a while. Let's go a little bit more local. SWL 93. If I do this right, SWL 93, over. Charlie is saying, when you see the red light, you can transmit. That means you're keyed up. All right, I'll remember that. This radio thing, it's hard to get it down after Got to practice at it. SWL 95. SWL 96. You know, I'm going to check in with Kurt. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can get, I'll get Kurt checked in at the regular time here, just so we've got too many Echolinks at one time. So, see if we can get Mr. Kurt here. What is your call? And I'll give you a call. Here, W9KEC. I've got it. KB6GFD. Take a transmission. Over. Over to the Echolink we go.
Good
96,
evening, Dennis,
checking in
and
direct
everybody
here.
on the net. KB6GFD, this is Whiskey 9, Kilowatt Echo Charlie. Kind of a quiet evening tonight. You know, the conditions have just been horrible. But I did something yesterday that I thought was kind of cool. I talked to a ham in an airplane. Happened on 17? Yep, 17. It was Whiskey Alpha 7 Echo, and he was flying over Nevada on his way to Cancun, so that was kind of cool. But okay, Dennis, back to you. It's kind of a slow night tonight, and we might go QRT early. Have a good one. As always, thanks for taking the net, and hopefully these conditions will change, and we can do the on-the-air thing soon. KB6GFD in the group, W9KEC 73.
All right, interesting stuff. On 17, and typically, you know, the pilots, if they're in an aircraft, we had one come to our Hamfest. If they're in an airliner, they can, when they go on an autopilot, and they're not having to go up and down and do anything. When they go to autopilot, they can actually change, and I think they're Harris radios in the dash, and they can put them on ham frequencies and make a conversation while the radio's in autopilot. And typically, you know, they're on upper sideband. So when I catch them on 40 meters, they'll be on upper sideband. And you think, well, why are they not on lower sideband? But on 17, you'd be on upper sideband anyway. But pretty cool. And the good thing is they have that nice 30,000 foot altitude or more. So a lot of times they're being heard in a very, very large area. So always good when you get an aeronautical mobile and one of the pilots or somebody doing that. It's fun stuff. It's been a while since I've done that, so more excitement. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the evening, and we'll catch you next time, 73, from KB6GFD. All right, that is Echolink Link. We'll be back to the Echolink link in just a moment. Let's go to SWL 97. That's Jim out in Boston. Let's go to SWL 98. That is Tracy over at over on Facebook, SWL 98. Tracy, we got you in over at the Central Valley Sea Beers. SWL 99. Been looking for Randy on 75 meters. Have not been able to contact him. So he probably had 100-degree weather out there today. All right, and back to Echolink we go. We'll find out about the upcoming tube activation. So, hello, Tony, KD4BAO from KB6GFD, over. And Tony will let us know that if the tubes are going to be running
Hey, good
tonight.
evening, Dennis. Good to hear you. Sounding great. Please check in SWL 100. No traffic for net tonight. Sounding great. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, 73, thanks for jumping in from way over yonder on the Echolink link. And Tony, the purveyor of the TOTA, Tubes on the Air, and we'll be doing that shortly. Thanks, Tony, and 73, KB6GFD. Directed net roll call. We're up in the triple digits. You know that means the tubes can't be far off. Let's go over to SWL 102. And if I look to my screen, I should see 102 somewhere. Assuming he didn't check in early and scroll away. Yes, he's right there from Scranton, Arkansas, checking in And he said, you had no doubt that I would be here. And like that ever-popular clockwork, I don't have to look far. That's a nice thing, because I'm looking to the left, to the right, up, down to find all these places. I always know where to look to find John. Thanks for checking in. Also checking in early tonight, just refreshing the comments here, SWL 103. Joey, Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray from South Carolina checked in. Said he's working tomorrow early, so he was checking in early. So saying hello to all the tube radio operators and shortwave listeners. Lake Elsinore jumping in. So I bet SWL 78 is up. I've been talking to him most every day all week on 40 meters, so we'll get him checked in as well. Thanks, Joey. We've got you checked in 103. Let's go up to SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. 109, Crawdad checking in.
All right, the elusive 109 is actually in the air chair tonight, spending a quiet evening in the air chair, but just briefly before he dons his cape and puts on the mask and the superhero status and heads out somewhere. Anyway, you are sounding good as always. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
So thank you, Dennis. And it's the first night in a while on a weekend that it's not an FFA thing, so figured I'd check in.
All right, and we're glad you did. Thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network. Oh, next up is SWL 110. SWL 111. And let's get one more Echolink link while I can. Let me see if I can get the station connected. We'll try one more Echolink link. And that should be our Nevada station. Let's see if Al is listening. KI6CBA from KB6GFD. What say you? Over. See if we can link into Nevada here. Hey, there it is.
KI6CBA to K station KB6GFD. Dennis. It's so exciting to be on the radio with you, and Reno is hotter than heck, and we just love listening to the old radios. I'm looking forward to getting my tube on the air. Every once in a while I listen on my Cobra, 129 or 29 or whatever it is, but it's just fun to see what other people are up to, and it's just good to talk to you. So I want to wish you all a happy listening, and talk to you soon. Good night.
All right, sounding good on the Echolink 73. Always good to have you stop by and say hello, radio, and we will catch you next week. Have a good rest of the weekend. Stay cool. Yeah, it's 100 degrees here in Fresno, too, as well, so 73. Sounds like it's hot all over here on the West Coast.
Good night.
Over to SWL 113. Here comes that skip land, SWL 114.
114, checking out.
All right, well, that station just put the kibosh on skip land. Sounding good, Wayne, as always. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you for doing checking, Dennis.
All right, if I can find the right number above my head, there it is. I think that's the right one. We will say hello, radio, to Wild Wildemar. You know, I was talking to Craig earlier. He said it was raining. He said they got rain down in near San Diego today. How did things go up there in Elsinore? You guys above the cloud anyway. Richard, thanks for checking in. Looking good. I don't know. If I don't cook here in the radio room, maybe we'll try some 40 meters after the net here tonight, like we did last week. That was fun. Let's go over to SWL 128. And that is Jonathan. John is checking in about 48 minutes ago from beautiful Fairfax, Virginia. Thank you, John. Let's go to SWL 131. SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135.
Greetings to one and all. This is SWL 135 checking in. Back to you.
Checking in and sounding good doing it. I can tell you are probably on a tube radio, so we will be checking in with that in just moments. It's sounding good, and hopefully it will continue to do so. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
All right, directing that roll call. Hello, UDX 357 Cowboy. Let's check in SWL 137 if you're out there. Tony checked in a couple of nests this week, I heard, sounding good. SWL 145. All right, 145 out in Course Gold. Sounding good tonight, Tony. We got you checked in over. All right, thanks for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network. And that reminds me, let's see, Tony usually leaves us the Friday questions, and indeed he did. So let's do that now. We've got the 2 questions as usual, and this one talks about a tube. So we'll see how you do. When was the 811 triode developed? Now, for the really, really old boat anchors, you won't find an 811 in a Class D radio, but you will find it in some of the radios that did 11 meters prior to that, that weighed 100 pounds. So when was the 811 triode developed? And you have a couple of answers. Was it 1919, 1929, 1939, or 1949? That's the 811 triode tube. When was it developed? Over. And I don't know. I'm just guessing on this one. I would think it would either be 1939 or 49. That's kind of cheating. I'm taking 2 answers. But the answer is the RCA introduced the 811 triode tube in 1939. There you go. Just in time to listen to Orson Welles and the War of the Worlds. It was and still is one of the most popular high-power tubes for RF amplifier application. The first 811s were rated at 240 watts and sold for $3.50. Well, how many of you, raise your hand, have an 811 amplifier? Who makes that? The 811H, I think, had 3 or 4 811s in it. From 1939, they said it's a standard tube, one of the most popular. And were you to go back in the time machine, set it for 1940 so you can pick up a bunch for $3.50. Over. Directing that roll call. Steve Areno checking in. Boat anchor checking in. Steve is looking down to see if he's got a Helicopters HT-37 or a Collins KWS-1 or maybe a DX-100 or any of those great radios. Steve, good to have you riding along on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go to question 2. A device called a JT-30, that's a Juliet Tango 30, is what kind of device? And there's no other clues. A device called a JT-30 is what kind of device? So think about that. That's what I would guess. Matambale saying a Morse code key. I have, and it's right under my finger off the screen here, a JT-38. I'm not sure if they were made by Lionel, but that's what I would think. All right. The answer... The JT-30 is a type of handheld microphone, has a connection to both ham radio, and the blues musicians discovered the JT-30. Oh, is that the little harmonica one? I'll see if I can find a picture of that. I should have done my homework on this. So the JT-30 is a handheld microphone. It produced a raw, Bozo Control would like this. It produced a raw honking sound when used on the harmonica. All right, that's got to be that silver microphone they're holding up with the harmonica, and it worked good if you have your proboscis. Maybe that's why Bozo Control has a JT-30 somewhere. Favorite blues harp mic, the JT-30. Maybe you have one somewhere. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark, and we are looking for SWL 147. Neil checked in already. Let's go to Bobby, SWL 188.
Good evening, Tom Dennis, 188 checking in. If you could proxy in 93, I appreciate it.
All right, the little note said that you would be live and direct tonight, and there you are. I will make sure STD gets checked in as well, and as always, you are sounding fine into Midtown Fresno for net control. Thanks for stopping by.
10-4 evening time to all.
In Standing Stones, Paul Butterfield, the Butterfield Blues Band, used in a static spelling. JT30. Well, who makes the JT? Well, we'll find. I'll see if I can find a picture of a JT30. That would be a classic microphone. Maybe I should have one up here on the desk. Thank you, Bobby, for checking in. Let's go to up in Corskull, 195. Jim checked in earlier. And Skip is coming back, and 226. Not sure I could hear Jeff. I'm going to get him checked in because he's probably up on the Facebook page listening in. And anybody else that needs to get checked in, and we're going to head over to the tube radios here. So who else needs to get checked in? Over.
Kevin, I don't need to get checked in. I just want to say hi. I'm talking on the CB here in Fresno. My name's Steve. Thank you.
Hey, Steve, very good. That is what we do. Don't have to have any special numbers. This is not a club. It's just a voluntary association of people. There's not a secret handshake, and you're doing it just right. So thanks for joining us tonight at the Old Tube Radio Network. We meet here on Saturdays on Channel 11. We're also live streaming at oldtuberadio.net, where there's a link to a video, and we will be doing what we do best, what we came on the air for 40 years ago, coming up here in about 2 minutes, and that's to talk to the vintage tube radios from the late 1950s, 60s, and 70s that some of us, most of us, a lot of us remember. So thanks for joining us tonight. Over. And I will be back getting ready for the tube radios to join you in a moment. Don't go away. The Old Tube Radio Network. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yes, indeed. They telling you true. X4000, Stan Freeberg, Billy May, letting you know that you are indeed listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. 27085 Channel 11 is where we are at if you're listening in or trying to listen in. And before we go, I found a shot. Let me see if it'll show up here. Oh, there it is. The JT30 microphone. You are all correct. That is the one for your green bullet, golden bullet. This one is for sale. The static JT Bullet Harp microphone. 1960s high impedance harmonica microphone, vintage 1992 Shure control, blah, 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 blah. But there it is. You know it well. I think that's the one that Elvis Presley used to like a lot as well. So there you go. All right, it's Tube Radio time. The stations will be firing up their Tube radios. We'll do what we do best. The Old Tube Radio Network is listening.
135, 135.
I hear, there we go. I hear 135. We'll start with you. The skip land is pretty weak, and you're going to have no problem making it over the top of skip land tonight. Let's see. Let me clear this, and we'll bring out the Rolodex and see if we can't find your item of interest. Hello, Cliff. Take a transmission. Over.
Man, they're coming in pretty good here. But I'll go ahead and go for it. From beautiful downtown Burbank, California, this is the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Let's see, there are 9 tubes, but 24 channels. This one actually has 24 channels in it. And I'm using, as usual, I think, yeah, this is the only mic I've got for this radio because of the special plug involved. This is the General CM3, or Charlie mic number 3, handheld unamplified plastic microphone. Back to you.
Have a picture of that. It is indeed your radio. This is from your shack, and just as described, the CM3 microphonium. I've got the wide shot up so we can see it all. Tuned, of course, to channel 11. There's things happening on the S meter, and the switches are in various positions. Beautiful downtown Burbank, their last type accepted radio. Always sounding good. No amplification necessary on the microphone because the radio will do it all. Back to you. Over.
Yeah, it seems to have a lot of forward swing. So my guess is it's still got good audio. These things just really put out. I think they got it right when they got to this. I'm not sure about the 11s. You have to ask Harvey about that. I'm not sure if the 11s are as loud. Because I'm not sure what changes they made between the 11 and the 11A anyways. But this one sure is usually good and loud, and the receive is good and loud as well. Channel 9 says help, which is always kind of fun when they do something interesting with Channel 9. But the Channel 24 slot is blank. Some of them say cap, for Civil Air Patrol, but mine does not. That's another thing to clarify with Harvey, because I can't remember why that is. I think they just made 2 different versions of it, that's all. Back to you.
That could be. Maybe there was some type acceptance going on. I just zoomed into the radio here. You can see it says 24 channels. They're not specific. I mean, it's 23 channels. I don't see anywhere where it says CAP unless it's on the back, but it does say General Radio Telephone Company. And the controls, you've got the NF tone, the range, distance and local. So we'll talk about that. It sounds like it's just a switchable RF gain maybe, but typically that would change your S-meter reading, so maybe it's something different. Bullhorn and radio, and the A&L in and out, the automatic noise limiter. So I don't know what kind of noise you have, and if you were to turn on the A&L, does it affect? Sometimes that affects the incoming audio. It doesn't sound as good as it could, but we'll find out. Back to you.
The A&L on this actually works pretty good. It does the JOB, and it doesn't alter the receive audio as much as a lot of others do. So again, I'm not sure of the details of the A&L circuit in these things, but it's pretty good. The NF tone definitely affects the audio. I think that's what it stands for, isn't it? Is it narrow frequency tone? I think that's what the NF stands for. And by gum, it is narrow. I have a lot of noise tonight, and I was using it, but it takes away so much of the audio, the receive audio quality that I turned it back off, and I'll just live with the noise. When you or any other big signal is keying up, I don't hear the noise anyways. Now, what else? What else was there? Oh, yeah, channel 24 position on the dial. Some of them say CAP. Mine is just blank. So that's what I was talking about there.
Got it. Okay, and the cap frequency was 26 something. I think it was sort of a receive crystal version of channel 13 or something. I have to ask Harvey. He's had the case off of those. I wonder if they have a filter. I don't think they have a Collins mechanical filter. If they change the filtering down to a narrow, so you're listening at 3K or 6K or whatever it is, and they kick it down to more of a sideband filter, like 2.7 or something, which indeed would sort of destroy the audio fidelity, but it would narrow things down to get rid of the side noise. So I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they're doing by filter, or they're doing some capacitance just to roll off the audio frequencies. General radio telephone, let me see what information we have. 9 tubes, a lot of 6-volt tubes. There's a 12AX7A for your mic preamp. Everything else is 6 volts except for the ECLL 800 in the output. Sam's Photofax 22, book 22, page 45. And it says it's got 2 transistors. So that's probably somewhere where they can do a DC to DC conversion, maybe on the inside. Sometimes they put them on the outside, on the back. I don't know. But you're sounding good. You're getting a lot of good comments on the audio and the radio from the shortwave listeners. It's sounding good. It's a fan favorite. It's one of our favorite pictures, too, to put up on the oldtuberadio.net page for the week to entice people to come by and listen in. And so now they're actually getting to hear the radio. Back to you.
Yeah, and the Sam's 22 here says June of 1969. So it's in just a few hours, I guess that will be 56 years, and still going strong.
Absolutely, and John noted, and 102, I think that's right, the big toggle switches on the front, which is kind of unusual for CB radios. Usually give you a knob with the switch or a little flip lever, but these have got the nice big, fit your finger switches. And John says the switches remind him of the ones on the school bus light control board when he was sitting there throwing M&Ms back and forth as a passenger. All right, sounding good. Thanks for bringing it by. The Super MC11A, that's their last version in line. There was an MC11. Harvey said they changed something. Transformer, whatever. They made some updates. I guess you could send your 11 in and have it updated. But that one is all ready to go. Sounding good. Over.
And that's a good deal. You're talking about the transistors. Yeah, if you wire up the right kind of plug on, like on a lot of these, so it's a base mobile. If you get the right wired plug up happening and hook it up to your car battery, it will go mobile.
I'm thinking, General Radio Telephone at that time, I don't think were producing their their radios. By 1969, I think they had stopped making those. So maybe that's what they did. They gave the base, the MC, which is their master control, double duty to go mobile. Or you could still use their VS5 or VS8. We don't have many of those checked in. They look like a little loaf of pumpkin bread, and they're I've got one. They're really heavy and stout, but they're about 3/4 to half of that size of that radio, and that was their mobile version. But I think they stopped making those and said, well, we'll just make one radio, we'll make it good, and we'll give you if you can figure it out, the ability to put it mobile. Maybe that's what the rack handles were for. When they stopped making the VS series, they said, let's just make it so you can tote the thing around. Good deal. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, and hopefully we'll catch you next week.
We plan to be here. We got a busy June. I don't think I'm scheduled to miss any Saturdays, but I will keep people updated because it's very possible. We've got all sorts of stuff going on at the radio station. The Jingle Singers know what's happening on a Saturday evening, and it's something like this, I think. Or do they not? Maybe they don't know what's happening. Do I know what's happening? Let's try it again. The Jingle Singers, take 2.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The Old Tube Radio Network, and hear the skip still coming in from the Pacific. We're here in the Central Valley of California on channel 1127-085, streaming at oldtuberadio.net. And who said they're new? Gene. Gene G says he's new here. Well, you know what? We're new here, too. We're new since about 1986 when we went on the air on Saturday evenings on Channel 11 to give some stations that had the older, classic, vintage CB radios a chance just to get on the air without all the hubbub of everything else, and that's what you'll be hearing tonight. You just heard from General Radio Telephone, 1969, a radio that was brand new back then and sounding brand new here at 2025, the Old Tube Radio Network. We're listening for radio number 2. And we are definitely getting the secondary gray line from Hawaii. As the sun goes down there, I'm seeing if I can find the DX map here. Let me pull up the DX map. And it doesn't show, there it is. It doesn't show that there's much going on. Let me zoom in and get to our area. But yeah, you can see right where we're at, Southern California. Look and see if it shows Hawaii. Yeah, see, there you go. There's those purple areas are the stations, and that's 28 meg maximum usable frequency. So it's beaconing across the Pacific Ocean right into where we are tonight. I see that there's something up around Squamish. So Albert and Peter, you guys, there's a little bit of noise going up in your area tonight. So if you can get past the mini grass, we might hear you. Anyway, we are listening for your tube radio check-ins. Over.
Kevin, that map is awesome.
Yeah, I'll bring it back. And this is specific for 28. So we could be getting some stuff from Texas. We could be getting some from Old Radio Night. There it is. Looks like we just opened up to Oregon, Washington. Maybe we'll hear 709. If it moves a little to the east, we might hear Idaho. The Old Tube Radio Network listening. Hey Google, what's the current temperature?
The current temperature in Fresno is 94 degrees.
94 degrees, we're cooling off. The two-time, are you guys in Tennessee? No, sir. We are in Central California. Pacific Daylight Time, it's about 9:21 right now. And the ham radio lady listening on the calling channel there on 6 meters at 5125. Well, anything happening? I would suspect if we start getting the E-skip up and down the Central Valley here, that you guys should maybe start getting something or listening for the beacons to come in up there on 5125. Hopefully we'll get some conditions for the VHF contest coming up too. All right, Foxman, we got you beat tonight at 94. You guys are 64 and clear. Sounds like sounds like where I want to be. Over. I'm wondering if I get a JT 30 microphone here on the control panel, if I'd have to bring a harmonica so I could use it. Nobody wants to brave the heat tonight. The jingle singers are glutton for punishments when we have those lulls in the action. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Somebody just asked they're hearing a thumping on the microphone. You know what that is? That's actually wind noise. Now I have, let me show it here. I have the shotgun microphone. You can't see it because of the background. I got the shotgun microphone. And I've got the windscreen on it, but it's so sensitive. It's a condenser microphonium, and it's so sensitive. There's a fan behind the rack of equipment that's actually blowing the air through the racks. It was pretty warm in here, and it's being picked up even with the windscreen on it. Who would have thunk? We are looking for radio number 2, OTR. 14, you're making it through the double hop E-skip, sounding good, and me thinks I should get out my old tube radio list and put you for radio number 2. Go ahead.
Okay, well, tonight I would like to check in my Mustang by Metrotech on the original hand mic. And it's a small radio about the size of a bread box, and hopefully I'm making a good trip to you there tonight.
You are. I'm checking the Rolodex. You've been on it before. You know what I noticed already is the audio sounds very nice. Doesn't sound like you're having to shout or anything. Here's one courtesy of Mark, N5RPZ. So let me get it on the big screen here. He's got some type of an LED light bar or something going on the bottom. I don't think that's supposed to be on there, but it makes it look cool. But I see the, you know what's scary is that M. It looks like something out of a horror movie. Over.
Yeah, that it does. And tonight I have souped up the Mustang. You know, typically it's anemic, maybe a half a watt it'll produce. And I've run it into my Texas Star modulator, and then I've got it going to my Phantom. So hopefully that's making a big difference tonight, because typically I don't put out much of a signal with this unit.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're having to strain your voice for the audio. When you come up next time, I'll put on all the meters. You're probably not 100% on the OR band, but it's nice. I'm not straining to hear you at all. And when there's some heterodyne, you are coming through just fine. The Mustang Metrotech looks like we have 23 channel receive. You can tune through. Hopefully it's not too hard to find channel 11. Sometimes those kind of dials can be really tricky. You got to go slow if they're not geared right. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 channels. The radio we're showing, which isn't yours, they used one of those old Dymo label makers and stuck the channel numbers on the front. So I'm not sure. The question I will ask you is, one, do you have channel numbers stuck on your selector? If not, because we can't see from the picture, does it go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or does it go A, B, C, D, E, something over?
Well, it goes numerically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and channel 11 is 6 on my radio, and I know 21 is 5 because I was testing it a little bit ago. I do have the dynamo tape right on the very top. It's green with white lettering, KDR. I don't have my glasses on. 6, 1, 2, 3, I believe, and it has a good tune. It's not too finicky there when you're tuning in the receive, and the crystal is also right close to frequency. It has a good receive if you go that way, putting it on crystal instead of tune. And yeah, the old Mustang, I haven't had it out in a while. I saw there's a Mustang 2 on eBay, but it's pretty dirty looking and not something I wanted to acquire, but maybe one day I'll have me another Mustang here.
Well, this is probably the good Mustang. Let me go back to the extreme close-up where we'll talk about something here. And then, as you know, because you're a car guy, you want the original Mustang. You don't want the Mustang 2. What was that, a glorified Pinto? I don't know. But this is by Metrotech. The one we're showing also has the Dymo label maker, KPX 7976 base. And just a reminder that when you are a licensed amateur radio operator, the license belongs to you. It is your personal license. It goes with you. On 11-meter Class D radio, you licensed the station. Now you had to sign up and pay $8, $20 to be licensed, but when the call they gave you went with your radio or your selection of radio. So this one says it's KPX 7976 base. And so were there to be another unit off that same license, then that would be Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. So you could have multiple stations on that license. But were you to walk over and go to Harvey's radio, you would not use your call that you used at home. You would use the call that was on the Dymo label on his radio because you're talking on that radio, and the radio is the call. So that's the way it works. That's the difference between ham when you are licensed. So as you go places, your license follows you. You use somebody else's radio, but you use your license. I know, too much information, but that's why a lot of the radios that we see, the older radios, had that number on it, because you had to remember to identify, in theory, that this was KPX 7976 base to Unit 2, or if you were talking, interstation on the certain channels, you would say KPX 7976 base to KEO or to KEO 8492, something like that. And you would give the call to the other station and hope they would come back. A little bit of history. Nobody uses that anymore. The FCC hoped that would be a thing, but it all went bad sometime in 1959. Over.
Yeah, I did not put that together, but it makes perfect sense now when you explain it to me. That's why I see them like that, base and mobile, and that's why they would put the tape on that. It makes total sense. But yeah, the old Mustang, it's a really nice radio. It has the original sticker on the microphone. It's got the original microphone cord in good condition, and I'm positive somebody, used it and realized, hey, I can only talk to my neighbor here in the cul-de-sac, and it probably went right back in the closet and then, popped up, and I acquired it. And a neat little radio. It's probably my favorite little oddball radio of the group. And like I said, I have 5 Mustangs, so I had to snatch it up when I seen it.
Yeah, we'll have to get a picture of the Mustang and the Mustang. Does it go mobile? I was looking for some information there to see if it has the DC to DC converter, if it comes with the extra little cable that plugs in the back that doesn't have the plug for the wall, but has the positive and negative with the fuse in it. You never know. Anyway, your Mustang is sounding good. All the channels are working. Your sound on frequency, it hasn't missed a beat. Your trickery of doing the Harvey range boost and then some is making the audio very close to 100% modulation, and we can tell you're just not having to shout in it whatsoever. So thanks for bringing by radio number 2. I don't know if there were a lot of these around. I remember talking to, when I was back in the 70s, back in Southern California, a friend of mine had a Metrotech Mustang, and they always sounded good, as does yours. Back to you for any comments, and thanks for giving us Radio 2 tonight.
Yeah, I'm really excited to look at the YouTube replay because, like you said, typically I have to shout, and it's nice to be able to talk on it relaxed, and it's making a trip to you guys there. So thanks to the time tonight for the Mustang by Metrotech.
Frank OTR.
Sounding good. All right, thanks for radio number 2. You're the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. On the break, OTR, go ahead.
Hey, Dennis, it's 93 STD. Hey, got home a little late. It's too late to get a little check-in, late check-in there?
Not at all. Actually, I was going to say you got home early because you got a proxy check-in, believe it or not. And so I was figuring, yeah, you're probably out at the pool party, right? The 100-degree there, but you made it back. And so let me go, there we go. Let me go to the official, where you're to be watching the video, and you look above my head, you will see the official 93 check-in. Over.
Right on, yeah. Had a birthday party next to the pool, you're right. It's a little warm today, but I was like, let me check in and see if they're still in there. So I appreciate it. Sorry for the late break, and you guys have a good rest of the evening, huh?
We will. SWL 93, STD Silver Tongue Devil, sounding good all the way from Clovis to Fresno.
Thanks, sir. You guys have a good rest of the night. We're out.
And one of our listeners say, you sound like the big station Deer Slayer out there. He said he was listening on 17 and 18. But you will hear, I'm sure you will hear this station beaconing in from the West Coast everywhere when he gets things fired up.
Right on, right on. I need every little bit of help I can get, right, Dennis?
Absolutely. Well, you can't miss that audio. That's what happens when you get that good broadcast quality audio. It just stands out. So you don't have to see. I have to dress up to sound good. I have to put on a suit, a jacket, and a tie, and that's what happens. But when you got good audio like that, you can wear your hat crooked, and everybody will think you sound great. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Well, I just put it like this. I got to sit in the dark to sound that good. Come on.
Not bad at all. We're doing full fidelity 12K on the replay. So when you hear it back, put on the headphones, and it sounds good. The Old Tube Radio Network Jingle Singers are going to try and promote a little bit of stuff here. The Friendly Place on Saturday. See if we can't get another radio before we head out for the evening.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Hey, Joe, I think I hear you. Take a quick transmission.
Thank you much, Dennis. Doggone it, we're on the small antenna this evening, but we're going to give it our best shot anyway. I'd like to check in my Robin, 123B.
All right, I hear you on the small antenna. Not quite the signal that we are used to hearing, but that shouldn't be a problem. And I'll pull up the Rolodex and bring up the Robin T123B while you take another transmission over.
Thank you there, Dennis. doggone it, yeah, we most definitely had to check this one in this evening. It's been sitting there a little bit there warming up. Dennis, I'd like to check in my 11 tubes, all 23 channels, plus a few extras there to burn.
You got to have those extra channels. And I mean, back 30 years ago, when Skip wasn't in, and you were in any type of a big metropolitan city, you would be hard-pressed to find some space even on all 23 channels. Now, of course, it's not like that today. Now, during the day when there's Skip going on, then it's hard to talk just down the street. So keep that switch handy, but you always know that on Saturday evenings, Channel 11 is the place to be. Over.
Most definitely, Dennis. You know that's one channel we don't have to particularly have to look for or, mess with any switches to try to get Channel 11. That one is built onto the radio. Most definitely came with the radio and is going to be part of it all for the rest of its living days, I guess. The other channels are fun too. We can kind of sneak in on 36 and 38, and hear a little conversation, maybe get a QSO going with somebody on the upper channels above the 23. But unfortunately, this one has about 9 extra channels, and it is a fun radio, more fun radio for me to get on, just looking at the whole operation from the front there with extra doodads, lights. And of course your range finder, the range expands. That's one that we don't have too much to do with, but basically all the rest of the radio though is a bunch of fun. It does have a meter set up in the back so you can adjust the meter, and it also has a couple of holes back there for a little peek and tweak there if you know what you're doing, but I kind of stay away from that. We're on a pre-amplified D104.
And while you were talking, I'm putting up some pictures of the radios for those who are watching the video or following along or watching the replay later. And then I also cut to the S meter just to prove a point. Now, this wasn't to embarrass you. You're at S1. You're basically right at the noise level. But what I wanted to show that when you have these tube radios with the 12AX7 audio, before they put in compressors and limiters and clippers and things to keep everything smashed at 99% modulation, when you don't have all that and you've got the right microphonium, which you do, and you don't turn it up too loud, even if you're right at the noise level, even if you're S1, the audio comes through crystal clear and I'm not straining to hear you at all. And that's the nice, fantastic thing about these tube radios. So you're doing it right and sounding good on the small antenna over. And hopefully you can still hear me on the small antenna over. And we're hoping you don't.
Whoa. Breaker, OTR.
Yeah, something. I had my wacky thing happen again here.
For those of you interested, the solar flare that's coming in, according to the NASA Solar Wind Prediction Center, storm that's coming in, the geomagnetic storm that's coming in, will hit in 9 hours and 15 minutes from now.
All right, thanks, Larry, for the info. And Joe, I apologize. I had a malfunction on my end, so you probably didn't hear my transmission. But you are sounding good on the Robin, and we're sneaking in past the solar flare, although it shouldn't affect us that much locally. But don't look for any big skip land tomorrow. Over.
Well, it's going to affect us locally. It could knock out your GPS. There could be delays at the airports.
20.
Do they think it is big enough to do that, or it's not? It's not as big as the other one, but it's big, right?
Yeah, it's going to be they're predicting a G4 conditions.
All right, and let me sign up with Joe to make sure he's still hearing me. We got you as radio number 3 on the Robin T123B. Hello, Joe, over. All right, I don't know. Maybe his radio went bye-bye, but he's got plenty from which to choose, so my guess is he will be back. And so you're saying 9 hours from now. So when we get up in the morning is check your radio and see what's going on. Hello, 20, I hear you, take a transmission.
Okay. Here's the mystery radio. Without any hint, guess what it is, Dennis?
All right, the mystery radio, the mystery radio without any hint. It's easy to know what it's not. It's not a Browning because it's not pinging, although you could trick me on that. I'm going to say it's not a tram because the audio is mild. It's not overly bassy. It's actually the audio, even though it's not super in your face. I like the quality of it. So I don't know. I'll start with something that is that kind of radio, and I'll say it's a Lafayette, over.
No Lafayette. More than one piece.
Oh, all right, more than one piece, because I was going to say like an early Lafayette, like the Comstat 19 or something. Well, that runs it down. Boy, if it's something like a Buddy bass, you were running it quite mild. If it's a Demco, you probably don't have the modulator with it. It's another one piece. Who else would have a? Could be one like a Demco. How about like a Demco Travelier, over?
Well, you got the manufacturer, but it's not that. It's a Demco satellite with a couple of modifications.
All right, because it sounds good. The Travelier, I think, is a one-piece radio, unless you count the power supply that you were using. The Demco, of course, a separate transmitter, receiver, and the satellite. I've got a couple of pictures in the Rolodex of the Demco, and I want to make sure that I bring up the right one. So I've got a CB1A, RX101, deluxe satellite. They had a deluxe, so this is probably not the deluxe, right?
Correct. It's the 101. But it's got a modification. On the next transmission, you'll see it or hear it.
Okay, there is the receiver for the 101. So that's the silver box with the really cool black knobs and the nice meters. Let me do the if I can do it, the close-up here where they spell satellite SATEL, missing an LITE, and it is tunable receive, right?
Roger. Did you hear the mod?
Yeah, it sounded like you might have switched in. Now, I hope it's not some copyright thing with Browning, but you might have switched in a capacitor, over.
Well, I might have done that. But, yes, I do have the modulator. Can you tell? This is with the modulator.
Oh, yeah. See, now, were you to have done that earlier, I probably would have come closer. Yeah, who got that? John, 102, came up with the satellite. So he didn't need the modulator to guess, but yeah, that did make a difference over.
There's the ping. It's not the normal speaker. This isn't mine. This is a project that pretty much just got finished for someone else back east. And he didn't send me the speaker because I didn't need it. So I'm using another speaker underneath my bench, so I have to lean the mic down. But it was just to get it going. Then I asked him if I could try something, and he said, go ahead. So those people who are familiar with these radios understand that when you key up, you're not killing the receiver, you are just shutting off the speaker. In other words, the receiver gets slammed every time you're talking. And the whole time I'm talking right now, guess what? The receiver is not being slammed. The needle is not being pegged. It took me a little bit, but I figured out a spot to tap in so I could get a ping if I installed a cap, and I could keep the needle from slamming over and be able to kill the receiver without it slowly dying, which is what happens if you do the mod at the same spot that Browning did. You do that, doesn't work. So I had to do something else. But anyway, so when I key up, if I don't ping or if I disconnect the cap, the meter never slams. With the pinging and the cap in there, it does go up to the top, hits a little bit, but comes right down as the receiver is dying. And this whole old buzzard transmission is with the needle at 0 and the receiver is not being hit with anything because there's no voltage, high voltage in the receive chain. So if you get tired of the slamming, I figured out what to do. Anyway, hopefully it'll stay working.
All right, good job. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on.
You're transmitting. I don't hear you.
Testing. All right, there we go. I'm hitting the wrong switch on the transmitter here. So, like I said, it only takes me 40 years to get on. All right, you can hear me now, Harvey, right?
Oh, yeah. I can hear you fine now.
All right, I found out what my problem was. I got a dual foot switch, and I was on the wrong switch because I only got one of them set up. So, got a picture of the transmitter, and I want to just confirm that transmitter does have the Magic Eye sideways tube, right?
Oh, yeah. And it flutters with the ping. And, of course, with the voice. Oh, yeah, this thing's great. I did have to add a secondary relay because I could not find a 14 contact relay, heavy duty for the voltage, etc., and that can handle the 100 volts on the coil. But I found one that just makes break, a small one. I'm going to install it, and it will be set. Right now, the thing has a relay sitting here on the bench with alligator clips and wires going all over the place. So later tonight I'll finalize and get it all done.
All right, good deal. And I want to say, who is it? Cowboy. I've got this double foot switch going on, and I'm not a drummer. I cannot keep time. You put something in the 5/4 time, you put me into Dave Brubeck land, and I'm totally lost. So you've got it right. I've got the double bass pedals, and I'm doing it wrong. So I think I'm on now. I just got to keep. That's one more meter I have to look at to make sure I've got the right switch that is down on the floor. Okay, Harvey, like I say, a couple of people guessed that. Good stuff. I'm showing the transmitter right now. And riddle me this. I can't believe, out of the box, back in the day, Demco actually overloaded that receiver. Someone said, yeah, it's just okay. Let's just overload the front end, but turn the speaker off. Are you telling me that's what they did? Over?
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what they did with this model. Samson, the Samson satellite came out first, and then I guess got bought out by Demco. Same deal. All it does, the accessory cable, all it does is turn off the speaker and turn on a light that says something here, where a transmit light in the receiver, the little red one below the meter on the right-hand side there. That's all it does, that 3-connection cable. And yeah, shuts the speaker off, but does not shut the receive off. Yeah, so maybe that might be a reason why, if somebody talked on these like I am right now, a whole lot every day for a while, a lot of those resistors, especially in the receiver, would go out of tolerance. They were terrible. Anyway, everyone I've worked on had that problem, where I'd have to change about 10 or 12 resistors at least. Anyway, okay, I'm about done. Oh, this is the modulator turned up about 1/4. I'm going to go even more, and then it'll start to feed back on hum, I think. Okay, up a little higher, and I think it's going to hum right here. Audio. There, I turn it back down to about here, and that should be good.
And that is good. That is definitely good. So, or maybe even just a skosh lower, because you'll get totally, the hum will go out. But yeah, you go up too much, you don't want it. It sounds overdone, gets a little mushy, but very good. So yeah, what they might do is it's like they had a relay, so it switched the antenna of the transmitter, and then you just had the receiver sitting there with no antenna on it. And I think that wouldn't be as bad, I guess, but still. That's definitely the poor man's way of doing something. Maybe they figured they could save some money without putting whatever the relays and things that Browning did. But very good. All right, so you've got some trickery. If you really wanted the Browning, you turn the switch on. But I think the goal here is to actually save the receiver a little bit. And then obviously you can change, I would think you can change the capacitor to do the ping or do something. All right, good deal. It's actually a pretty radio. I like the big knobs. It's very ham radio-like, actually, and the transmitter-receiver combinations were. It's when you think about what 11-meter Class D was supposed to be. It was supposed to be very simple radio, and you come out with these double boxes like this that had to be connected and tune and load and do some spotting. Seems like it got a little complicated. Adding the Magic Eye tube is a plus. All right, questions from the audience, and you may have told us, but I didn't write it down. What microphonium is plugged into the modulator that's plugged into the radio? Over.
Okay, it's an unamped D104. He sent the mic along without a head on it. I don't know why, but he did. Okay, so I put one head that I have. Now the head that's on it is not 100%. it's probably 75, 80. So that's why with the modulator out, like this, it just doesn't sound that strong. Anyway, so I'll run it with the modulator on. Once he gets it and puts a good head on the mic, he'll be all okay. Now, if he runs an empty 104, something like that, +2, whatever, you're going to have to take the mic and put it at kind of 1/4 to 1/3, and then when you hit the modulator, it's going to be just way too loud. But anyway, that's what we got. We got options here. I'm going to talk to him about putting a switch in the back. When you don't have the ping, and when you didn't hear the ping, I was just not holding the mic close to the speaker. But it was still, the capacitor was still in there. So the needle did go up to the top and hit, and then back down. If he flips the switch for no ping, then it will not go up at all. It just goes right down. So I think I'll talk to him about putting the switch in the back. And if he doesn't want the ping, that's fine. And then he doesn't have to worry about this thing getting slammed. Should last a whole lot longer that way. No worry about the needle breaking.
All right, excellent. Some people are asking me to show the whole radio in my Rolodex, Bristol, Indiana. Oh, wait, I think I found one here. I think I found one here with the speaker, which you say don't have. All right, this let me bring this up and see if I can get it. Okay, it's out of Rig Picks is saving my day again. So I will see if I can get a full shot picture of the radio, the speaker, which you don't have, and then the modulator. And the modulator, unlike some of it's not built in the speaker, right? It's the separate box on the modulator. Over.
Yeah, separate modulator. And by the way, those big knobs that you see, they're kind of unique. The modulator has the same knobs. It apparently came with the unit. And he wanted me to change the mic plugs so that things would all be the same, something like that. But what we have is a 3-pin on the transmitter, but there was a 4-pin on the modulator. Oh boy. So I changed the back of the modulator from a 4-pin to a 3-pin, put the 4-pin on the front, on the mic cord, which originally had the 3-pin to go into the radio. The fact that he got the modulator with the matching knobs is great. It probably didn't come with it. But anyway, yeah, it's the freestanding unit. Got a nice neon bulb on the front, and everything works.
And I think those were 2 tubes. I'm not sure if it was a 12AX7. But yeah, we got a shot here. The speaker is big, but it's smaller. When you look at the radios, it's smaller than I thought, but I guess it's the same height. This one's sitting on the modulator. And then this picture, which isn't too good, looks like somebody did a flash on it, and it's a little bit bright. It's got a meter. So their Demco must have had a meter to go with it. So it looks like you could have a 5-piece set where you'd have the meter, the speaker, the modulator, and the transmitter receiver. So good deal. It sounds good, nice and clear. And like you're saying, it might be on its way someday. Over.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you wanted to, you could have, okay, let's see if I get close to this, an 8 or 9-piece setup, not including the microphone. You could have the modulator, these 2 units, you could have the meter, well, you could have the speaker, you could have a bandalizer, a wavalizer, and I think there's something else. Oh, and then you can add, if you wanted to, a separate modulator, audio modulator different from this one, with a Magic Eye tube in it, okay, with the gain control in the back. It's kind of plain looking, but it's got the Magic Eye tube in the front, and then you can add any number of range boost devices that they made.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is it's already confusing me just to do the tune and load spot switch. I like the big dials though. We had some of those receive only or multiple receive non-crystal controlled, and they have the really tiny dial. But this looks like it would be easy to kind of slide into the frequency, and then the two big meters together. It looks like it's not hard to do up. All right. Well, I failed on figuring out the radio. 102, and I think another person figured it out. It sounds good. Even without the modulator, you could probably, if you had an amplified D104, you could crank it up a little bit. But the modulator actually helps on the frequency response, high and low. Doesn't sound too bad. Like you said, if you keep the gain down, no buzzing, no malfeasance. And you know how we love the satellites on OTR. Over.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this one is not a big swinger on modulation, but I think it's mainly the mic head. I might change that. Give me about, let me see here, about 20 seconds, and then I'll change it.
All right, there's the old Tube Radio Network. I put up the S meter, and because the AGC on this receiver is really slow, you don't see a lot of the forward movement. Right now you're seeing my transmitter. The jingle singers will keep us busy until Harvey gets back with whatever he's doing. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
All right, now there's some meters that swing. That's the REA modulation meter, looking at my transmitter between the positive and the negative peaks. I've got some audio gear that they use at the radio stations to help the modulation be asymmetrical so that I can have indeed a little bit more than 100% modulation without the flat topping that goes along by keeping my negative peaks in the right area. And there you go. And it's another thing. You see little lights blinking. So let's go back. Let's go back to Harvey and see what it is that his trickery is going to be. Over.
Okay. The modulator is out, and I put a different head on the mic. How's that?
Okay, I actually saw the meter move a little bit. It is not as bright. It definitely is rolling off the top end a little bit. Over.
Okay, I turned the modulator back on with a different head on it now. That last key up, the modulator was off, but I had a different head on it.
Okay, the modulator is sort of the great equalizer. Now it sounds very similar to the last item. It's nice and loud. You might even be able to crank it down just a bit, back off on the modulator just a bit. This may be, I think this microphone's a little bit hotter on the audio, but not. You don't have to go back too much. Over.
Okay, kick back a little bit. Okay, that's it for this one. I see what time it is, and I bet you Joe wants to check another radio in.
All right, I hope so, because we lost him when he was on the not the Metro Tet, the Robin Treat 123B. I had an issue, and I hope it wasn't confusing. So yeah, he might have another radio. I don't know if Sean's got another radio. We'll stay on past 10 o'clock a little bit. Our SWLs are into Sunday now, most of them, so they're hanging on here. But if we can't get a couple more radios, we'll sign off. Someone asked me, what does the old Tube Radio run a ground plane? Yeah, an old Starduster. That's like the most quarter wave-ish ground plane you can get. The old Tube Radio Network. We're standing by, see if we get a couple more radios here quickly before we sign out tonight. Over. I don't think anybody wants to go into the hot radio room tonight. And Wagon Master, I think the 850 and the 450 do have an AM position. It's the, for the Kenwoods, it's the 530, the 520, maybe the 820, when the ones that didn't have AM. But I'm pretty sure the 850s and the 450s and the 440s, in fact, I know they do. I'm sure the 440 and the 450 have an AM position. And Kenwoods actually have pretty decent AM audio out of the box. All right. Any last takers before we count an amount here for check-ins? Over.
How about this one?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me get back to the control room here and get off the S-speeder. Oh, there it is. Go ahead, sir. Over.
Go ahead and check the Browning Golden Beagle in. You know what it is, so I won't talk long on it. I gotta finish the work on the other thing. Okay, talk to you later.
All right, good deal. And just for reference, have you ever done that mod before? Like, I've done this before. Let's see if I can do it again. Or you thought about, well, it says, Browning does this. Why couldn't I do this to a Demco? Or did you just get, a lot of people are, in a lovingly way, comparing you to the mad scientist. So did you just all of a sudden lightning strike at your feet and you said, let me try this? Over?
Well, they should just take a picture of, what's his name from Back to the Future? The doctor there. There you go. He fell off a toilet, hit his head, or whatever it was, and maybe I got struck by lightning. No, I've been talking about this kind of with Cliff for years and years. And when I got this project in, and I finally was able to get to it, I've had this for several months, but I wasn't able to do any work for a while. I asked him, once I got it going, everything, fixed up, etc., I asked him about it. He said, sure, go ahead. So I did it.
All right, and who was it? Cowboy, thank you, Foxman Cowboy. They're all coming up with Doc Brown. So you might be, even though it's not apropos for what you're doing, you might be Doc Browning. Over.
Tell you what, Doc Brown, what is it, channeling, what's his name from Taxi?
There you go. Well, you are our Doc Brown here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Sounding good. Thanks for giving us the yet another radio, and I'm going to do some counting and amounting. The little clip lead, you can solder them in. Take the clip leads off and make it so.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to leave this one on, turn the other one off, get to work on it. Okay. Next week, I think I'm working, so you might need to proxy me in.
Okay, I have a really wild June, Fridays and Saturdays. I think even though I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff, I'm going to be off by 6 or 7 o'clock, so I should be here in the air chair most of June, but I'll kind of keep updated and see if I'm going to be late or miss anything. But I think I can make it through June and getting back in the air chair here on a Saturday. We will see. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network, the Jingle Singers are saying they are ready. They're making the ice cream there. I want to get in. I want to get some of the ice cream before it's gone. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
I'll be here next week.
And I must say, I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get the E-skip tonight. Dwayne was at the ready. I know there were some other stations. Let me go back to the map. The Squamish boys were all ready to take a transmission. Let me find the DX map. I bet all our colors have gone away. Let me bring it up here. That's the other one. There's a little bit of E-skip going on. That's not quite the map I wanted. It's the one I want. Here we go. See, it's still showing. Oh, look at that. Digital level up over by old radio. And I bet 21's in bed. Let's see if they're showing the... See the Hawaiian Islands, Australia, Hawaii's kind of gone. So if you're staying up tonight, there it is. But it's down to the South State. It's down to San Diego. We're right where that star is. And so we've got no cloud conditions to whatever's happening, but it looks like you stick around, it might happen. All right, to Counting and Mounting, the Old Tube Radio Network. And then Mr. Announcer said something like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, back to the control room here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Very warm day here in the Central Valley. We've got another one coming up tomorrow. But it's good to get outside and do some of that outside stuff. The Old Tube Radio Network. You can hear a little noise coming in. That's the fan behind moving stuff around. Check-ins tonight. We're in week 5 on the roster. Last day of May 2025. Who would have thought? It's a quarter of the way through the 21st century. And we started this Old Tube Radio Network back in the last quarter of the 20th century. And we're still checking in the radios. They're still sounding good. We're always amazed at what we can find. So keep on going. Hopefully you're doing something like this where you're at. It doesn't have to be old radios. It's just to get on the air night. Check-ins night, 17 on page 1, 19 on 2, 22 on page 3, and 24 on page 4 for a total of 82. Remember, you don't have to be on any piece of paper to come by and say hi and do all that stuff. However, if you do have a radio, that's where we want to get you on the list. We did tonight. We had 5 stations jump in. That's better than I thought with a lot of graduations going on, a lot of people doing the graduation thing. You heard a birthday party, pool parties going on. But enough people stopped by the radio tonight. Was there a most heard manufacturer? No, we had a 5-way tie between our first radio, the General Radio Telephone Super MC 11A, and I need to put that on there so we know what checked in from beautiful downtown Burbank. Metrotech, the Mustang, with a little bit of help sounding pretty good tonight on the Mustang. Sean, hope you hear the replay because it was nice. The Robin T123B from Joe. Joe, are you there? It sounded good, and then we lost you. So is there a power outage? I was talking to somebody on 40 meters before I came down here, and they had a power outage. It's a lot of air conditioners running here on the West Coast, and they can do that. They can trip transformers and things when it gets up to 100 degrees. Thanks you for the 123B, Joe. And then Harvey on the Demco satellite RXTX 101 without the speaker. We finally got the whole piece on it, but modified so that it actually really, I just can't believe they're slamming the receiver like that. But if you can get a ping on there, you can fool your friends or realize your Browning fantasy. And then Harvey on the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68. So everyone have a nice rest of your May. Some of you are already into June. We will catch you next Saturday. I'm pretty sure I will be in the air chair. We are doing something until about 6 o'clock at the radio station. So I'll try to pre-set stuff up, and I'll be here and should be on by 8 o'clock. 73, everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. If you're studying for your ham radio license, Cycle 25 is still good, even though tomorrow, in about 7 hours coming up, or today, if it's Sunday, we'll have that flare coming up. See what happens with the bands, with your GPS systems. Hopefully nothing bad. But put the gasoline in the car so that all those little satellite receivers dinging your credit card will will get the payments before they don't do anything. Good night, everybody. And we'll check you later on the Old Tube Radio Network. Don't give a guy 2 switches, because I have a 50% chance that I'm going to be using the wrong switch. And that happened tonight. Rocketeer 915, Richard, Sean, who's out there? UDX 537. Rob, you're staying up late. It's Sunday in Texas, for Pete's sake. Okay, but thanks for joining us. And this may be the only way we can communicate when the sun does wacky stuff.
Good show, Dennis, and I appreciate you allowing me the time. And I still have those 3 Brownings for sale. Okay, talk to you later. I'll be around next week. See ya.
All right, were we doing a show? Over?
We were doing something.
That's right. You were seeing the net control trying to figure out a dual foot switch and not doing a good job of it. There's got to be a way to make radio simpler. You know, remember the day where we had 2 tin cans and a string, and all you had to do was pull tighter. I wish it was that easy. Over.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be as much fun.
Right. I wouldn't need to put on the seersucker jacket and the pocket protector and look like the advertisements in 1963. Good night, everybody. 72 plus 1 for the SWLs that like doing math, and we will catch you next week. And what happened to Joe? Joe, you are there. I hear you. Over.
Yeah, doggone it. I didn't know what was going on. After you didn't come back to me, I started pulling plug. Boy, I had coaxes laying everywhere.
It's a combination. Let's try this. It's a combination between probably you being on the spare antenna, so the signals are lower, and then me trying to figure out the dual foot switch so the signals are lower or non-existent, and then you put that together and it can make some 11-meter chaos. But you sound good now. We did get your Robin T123 checked in without a problem, so hopefully you've got everything shored back to where it should be, because there wasn't anything wrong as far as I could tell. Over.
Good deal. Yeah, I was worried there for a minute. I thought maybe the Robin got a little too hot. But thanks a whole lot there, Dennis. We'll be more situated next Saturday. We'll be on the solar comp, and things will be a little better. All right, good evening to you.
All right, have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. You know, I'm never going to be a drummer. You have to have 2 hands and 2 feet that coordinate, and the way I'm doing this, it's a little bit tough. But like I said, give me 40 years, and I'll figure this out. Good night to you. I'm going to jump out of the air chair and get some lemonade or something. But it wasn't bad tonight. We actually had some air conditioning. I think they said in the green room they have some type of ice cream thing going, and that's where I'm going to be. I'll catch you next week.
Good deal.
And I'm disappointed that we didn't get to skip tonight. Peter and Private Thor and 428. I kept seeing. Let me bring it up. I keep seeing the DX maps that say, where is it here? Yeah, see, you guys might be here in San Diego and Baja, California. That's what's showing up on this map. But we're about 200 miles too close to get in on any skip activity. So we'll see what happens. Good night, everybody. We will see you later, the Old Tube Radio Network. There's a little bit going on, but it's really spotty. It's basically DX to nowhere. All right, I'm going to extinguish the 6L6 tubes. It will be safe to touch your screens.